This is Chapter 2, Elementary Programming, Programming Exercise 1, Convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. So for this programming exercise, we're going to write a program that reads a Celsius degree in a double value from the console. And then we're going to convert that value into Fahrenheit and display the result. So the formula for the conversion is as follows. To get Fahrenheit, it is going to be 9 divided by 5 multiplied by Celsius, which is going to be the number that the user is going to enter, and we're going to add 32 to that. So how we're going to do is we're going to want to display the console like the following. We're going to ask the user, hey, enter a degree in Celsius. And for this exercise, we're going to ask the user to enter 43.5 because we already calculate this and we know that 43.5 in Celsius to Fahrenheit is 110.3. We're going to display all of that. The number that the user entered, which is 43.5 Celsius, is 110.3 Fahrenheit. Now, here's one thing that we should know when doing this exercise. In Java, 9 divided by 5 in Java equals 1. But if we do something like 9.0 divided by 5 equals 1.8. So why is that? Well, let's actually get a visual on that in our exercise right here. So we're going to write that system.out.println, and we're going to write 9 divided by 5 equals and we're going to display this onto the console. So what are we going to get? Are we going to get 1.8 or 1? So let's run that, and it shows that 9 divided by 5 equals 1. Now, I clearly say 9 divided by 5 equals 1. That isn't the case. Why does this display 1 instead of 1.8? So simply put, here's something that you should always remember when it comes to Java. Java sees this 9.5 as two integer values. So an integer divided by integer, the result will be an integer. An integer in Java is a whole number. Whole number divided by whole number, result is a whole number. So to solve this, all we have to tell Java is that if we want a decimal value, or as the result of this calculation, is to specify one of the numbers as a decimal number. Now we could specify the 9 right here as a decimal number by simply saying 0.0 or make it a floating point number. By making this a floating point number, Java will see, okay, floating point number divided by whole number. Result is that I'm going to display a floating point number. So, and that's what Java is going to do, display a floating point number. Now, it doesn't matter which one you specify in this parentheses as the floating point number. You could specify either or, the 9 or the 5, and the result will be a floating point number as long as one of them is a floating point number. Now, of course, there's more than one way of doing this. Instead of saying 9.0 or 0.1, 0.2, point whatever, 0.1245, right? You could also say 5D, all right? Now 5D is saying 5 double or decimal, right? It's specified that this number is going to be a double type number, which will make it a floating point number, and result will still be floating point number. And another one is a F. F for float also works the same way as D, but we'll go more into this F and D data types later on in further exercise. But that's just something to know. All right. Now let's see. So what are we going to do? So we're going to break this exercise into 4 very simple steps to solve this exercise. So for step 1, we're going to display a string onto the console. Step 2, input variable and read the variable from the console and store that value into a variable. Step 3, convert the variable. And then step 4, display the calculation onto the console. All right, so let's do all of these steps one at a time. Starting with step 1, display a string onto the console. Now, when we're displaying a string onto a console, we can't simply just display it, right? As you can see here, displaying this string on console actually needs a specific library. The library that we need is the system library. Now, by default, Java automatically import this library for you because this is the most commonly used library. But if you want to import yourself, if you're not using an IDE, which automatically import for you, not Java, my IntelliJ IDE automatically import for you, you could import it yourself by writing the import statement, which is a keyword in Java, all right? And then this system class belongs to a language folder in Java. So short for lang, dots, and inside the lang folder, will have a lot of class that we could use. Now normally it's in alphabetical order, but system, string builder, and string, those are the usually most popular or highly used class in Java. So they, in this case, appear more on top. And we're using the system class. All right. So because of that, now we're able to use it. Now we're able to use the system methods and variables. Okay. Now I don't really want to display this. I actually want to display, let's see, enter a message, enter a degree in Celsius. That is what I want to display. Enter a degree in Celsius. Okay. And I want to use the print method and not the print line method. So as you can see, the print line method displays the strings and then starts a new line for the next message to appear. So as you can see, you see this process finish, this string right here appears after this new string. So if I run it again, this will be now next to each other. I don't want it to be a new line. I want to enter something right here instead of being on the next line. All right, so we complete step 1, just like that. Now on to step 2, input a variable and read the variable from the console. So the variable we're going to import is, or input is 43.5. Now to read it is going to be a little different. To read it, we're going to use another class, and this class is called a scanner class. The scanner class, in this case, how I'm going to use it is I'm going to scan the console. I'm going to scan the console and see what is written in on the console, and I'm going to grab that value. All right. So to do that, let's start with writing it out. Now, like I said, Java automatically import the if you're writing, Java automatically, IntelliJ automatically import the system class for you. But that's it. It doesn't import other for you because they're not as commonly used, and it's going to assume you're not going to use everything, so not going to import everything. So there's going to be some class that you're going to have to import yourself. You're going to have to figure that out yourself, right? Now, luckily for IntelliJ, when you're writing out the class, it knows which class to import. But let's say you're not using IntelliJ, you're not using an IDE, you're writing your class on simply a notepad, right? And of course, that's not gonna figure everything out for you. So you have to figure that out yourself. So if I want to use the scanner class, how am I going to do this? What you could do simply is you could always go onto your search engine and type in something like, so I'm using Java, all right? And in Java, I'm using the scanner class. So we're going to enter, and then you're going to come up with the Oracle documentation for the scanner class. This one's a little bit old, SC7 with as of December 2018, I believe version 10 is out already. But they're not going to change too much with the class, so don't worry about that. And right here, instantly show you where the scanner class is in the java.util package or folder, right? For package in this case. So you simply write java.util, you go back to your IDE, whatever you're using, type in java dot, actually no, keyword is import this first, java.util, or short for utilities, and here we go. Turns out scanner class is the most popularly used in the utility class. That's what we're going to use, and with that, we're going to be able to use the scanner class. So you can see scanner, I could type all of that out without it becoming red. So if I don't do that, let me see if it works with showing you that in Intellij. Well, Intellij, it knows, automatically knows, java.util. Now otherwise it's going to actually, let's see, it should show, automatically imports that right here. See, if you're not, okay, it keeps automatically imports, so I can't show you on Intellij. Anyway, scanner, to use it, you have to import the scanner class from the util package. All right, we're going to give this scanner class a variable name, and I'm going to call input equals new scanner, and what I'm going to scan is the system input. All right, now for now, I'm not going to go too in depth into that, since it's only chapter 2 on this object creation right here, and this system.in and reading from the console or reading from somewhere else. Just absorb this for now on how to read from the console. Now actually, I want to create my variables. All my variables, I would like to have it on top. I'm going to just put that there. In this case, it's not a big deal on where the variable is for now. Of course, if you're going to use a variable, you have to create it early on. You can't create a variable. You can't use a variable and then create it later. All right. So another variable I'm going to create is, right. So what this do is, all it's going to do is it's going to read a value from the console, and it's going to hold on to it, but it has to store that variable somewhere. So where am I going to store that variable? Well, I'm going to store that variable in a double data type variable. I'm going to call that our Celcius. All right. And I'm going to instantiate this variable to make it start at 0. Now remember, this is a double data type, right? So because we're going to hold a double data type, or retrieve a double data type and store it in here. Now, if I say this was an integer, and then I'm going to read from the console a double data type, you're going to get some issues. So remember your data types when you're creating them. Also, you're going to get errors. So, all right, right here we have enter degree in Celsius, and to be able to read that, we're going to combine everything we created right here. We're going to say, hey, Celsius is equals to the input dot next double that it reads from the console. So when I say enter degree in Celsius, I'm now expecting the user to enter a double data type onto the console, and this input variable right here is going to read a double data type from the console, and then it's going to store it into this Celsius variable right here. So let's see all that in action. System.out.print the Celsius is let's run that. All right, So right here, it says enter degree in Celsius. That is the string that we wrote right here. Now, the next thing that's going to happen now is that, as you can see, the program did not terminate, right? Actually, let me quickly show you that instead. Generally, when we run it, we'll see something like this, right? Enter degree in Celsius and boom, program ends right away. It says process finished with exit code 0. Exit code 0 means program ended without any issues. Now, this time when I run it, it doesn't say that. And the reason for that is because now the console is expecting you, the user, to enter a number onto the console. And the number that's expecting is a double data type number. All right. Now we're going to enter 43.5, which is the double value. And then to input that, simply click enter. Now by clicking enter, this input that next double reads this value right here, 43.5. It reads it. And then it stores that value onto this double data type right here, right? Celsius. And now Celsius, the memory location of this is holding the value 43.5. That way, when you grab this value again, Celsius, it'll say the Celsius is, and then you say, hey, show me what is in Celsius. And it'll show you the Celsius is 43.5, all right? All right, so now that we got that, the next step is to convert Celsius into Fahrenheit. So now that we got Celsius is 43.5, we're going to create another variable called Fahrenheit, and we're going to solve for Fahrenheit by using this equation right here. So I'm going to create the Fahrenheit variable right here, actually, Fahrenheit. Now you may see, hey, what's going on? You're creating a double data type for Celsius, but why are you also writing another variable right here called Fahrenheit, and then with a comma right here? So this comma simply say, hold on, not only do I want to create a data type called Celsius, a double data type called Celsius, but I want to also create a double data type called Fahrenheit. So by doing this comma right here, you create multiple variables of double data type. All right, so you create comma right here again, and you write another name or give it another variable name is also going to be of double data type. So of course, you don't have to write like this. If this bothers you, you can also write it like this, double Fahrenheit. Now these two means exactly same thing, but if you want to put it together, you don't want to write another line, this also works. You could do it however you like. All right. So now that we have this variable called Fahrenheit, we're going to use it. Now Fahrenheit, we're going to calculate for Fahrenheit down here. Fahrenheit, to calculate for that, remember, it is 9 divided by 5. And like I said before, one of these has to be a double data type. So since we're here, let's make this a double data type, or floating point number. And we're going to multiply that by Celsius. Then we're going to add, what was it again? I'm going to add 32 to it. All right, and there we go. We got our Fahrenheit. So let's see. Fahrenheit equals 9 divided by 5.0, and it's going to do this first. So anything inside parentheses is going to calculate that first, and then it's going to figure out, all right, what to do next. The next order of precedence is the multiplication. So it's going to solve this, and it's going to multiply by Celsius, finally add it by 32, and it's going to then store the entire value into this variable called Fahrenheit. All right, so now that we have complete step 3, we're finally on step 4, the final step. So now that we got that, we want to display the Fahrenheit onto the console. Display the value onto the console. Now that we have Celsius 43.5, Fahrenheit is 110.3. We want to display the message is 43.5, Celsius is 110.3 Fahrenheit. All right, so our last step, system.out.print. I'm going to write it right here. We're actually going to display the Celcius first. We know the Celcius value is stored in this variable right here, right? Because we did from before. We grab that value and we store that value into Celcius. So this right here, this variable right here, will always remember 43.5 unless you replace it with another variable. So Celsius, which is 43.5, and we'll say Celsius is, and then since we calculate for Fahrenheit, now this memory location for this variable holds the Fahrenheit value plus Fahrenheit. All right. And let's run that. We'll say enter degree for Celsius, 43.5. No problem. Let's make this a print line. I mean, should be good. It was okay. 43.5. All right, so that's displays much better. So it remembers I enter 43.5, and it remembers that this variable Celsius now holds the value 43.5. I grab that value, I put it into this little formula right here and calculate for Fahrenheit, and then calculate that 43.5 Celsius is 110.3 degrees in Fahrenheit. All right. Of course, you don't have to do 43.5. So now that we confirmed this correct, you could do other values like 60.25. So the Celsius for, if Celsius is 60.25, then the Fahrenheit is 140.45. All right. So that is how you do this exercise from converting Celsius to Fahrenheit using variables, system class, and the scanner class with the double data type.